Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Yeah, we got bright sunshine. What are we, like, upper 50s? I'm hoping it'll get to like 60 today. It was, it was like the 40s, upper 40s when we walked in this morning on TikTok. Now we're on YouTube. I figure we'll just head over to the Riverwalk. I know we'll probably do the Riverwalk tomorrow, but that's okay. Mary Therese, how you doing there? Yeah, Lunch Bunch, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being on, and hope you're doing well. And yeah, thanks for conversing with everybody there. Michael, how you doing there? Natives Guide, how you doing there? Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. So here I was gonna cross the street here. But Stephanie LeBron, how you doing there? Yeah, thanks. I see you there. Thanks for the little emojis there. Nice hands and happy faces. I'm just trying to get the camera straight there. Krista, how you doing there? Yeah. So the wind's not too bad. So far the rain's holding up. There might be rain later today. Forecast is not too bad this week here. We'll go by the Old Republic building. Hey, the Old Republic building. Yeah, this used to be coal. Like, what does the carbide and carbon building have to do with the Old Republic building? And see, look at it here. And I researched it, and there's probably more to it than I oversimplify things. But both of these buildings, carbide and carbon, and the Old Republic, had to do with coal. Remember, there used to be a giant rail yard just to the right of us here, and it would terminate it at the river, and it was all the trains coming from the south and west and east, mainly east, and it would ship coal from the mountains. And back 125 years ago, coal was a very important heating source for this city and other cities, and it was so bad that the soot, some of the older buildings, you'd be able to see the blackened smoke from the coal burning. And some of the older buildings that we filmed there had coal chutes on the side, and that's why these buildings, even in the 1920s, they funded skyscrapers, coal, carbide and carbon, and the Old Republic buildings. Hey, Naya, how you doing there? Jason, how you doing there? Charles, yeah, Lorene, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in here. We got the light. Aunt Lorene's tuning in there. Hey, Mary Therese, beautiful day here. Yeah, Heather B, how you doing there? Thanks, Mary Therese, for the flowers there. Nice to see the sunshine, yeah. So here, let's head down to the Riverwalk. We'll give you a preview. Again, tomorrow, we're hoping for a bridge lift. Hopefully they'll lift the Baskill bridges, the drawbridges. We did it last year, both spring and fall, and the year before that, spring and fall. Hey, there's a pontoon boat. Does the river look green? We'll head down here with all these people going down to get some architectural cruises. June. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Serene there. I saw that yesterday. Yeah, I saw your message there. Again, I very much want to see you guys. There goes the whistle there. I very much want to see you guys, especially if you're in Chicago. Again, the past several years, we've been taking a trip to Texas in June as well. I guess you're probably waiting for the kids to get out of school, your grandkids and stuff, the exact same thing. Usually my dad and I, Norb there, we take a trip to Texas in the middle of June. It usually coincides with Melissa, my sister, getting out of school. She's a teacher, as you know, and the kids being out of school. So there'll be some point in June where I'll be with my father and we'll be in Texas because we've been driving there. So I usually take 2 weeks off in June. Now I want to see you guys. I'm just letting you know that I'll be out of town some of June. Now hopefully we can coordinate it, and if it's later in June, I should be back. If it's early in June, I should be here. But in the middle of June, since we didn't go down for Easter, I think my dad wants to take a trip to Texas. So hopefully, I very much want to see you in June, and thanks for letting me know. But it just is, same thing happens. There was people from TikTok that came in for the Jazz Fest, or no, the Blues Fest. The Blues Fest happens in June in Chicago, and I was out of town, and they were looking for me, and I said, I told you I'd be in Texas in June. And I'm telling you too, and I want to see you, but we're all doing, I think a lot of people are doing travel in June, which is good. Hey, here goes Emerald Lady here. Look at that. Here's Chicago's Emerald Lady here. Look how it really hugs the shore when it comes around here. It's building. Oh, wow. Look at the beautiful dress here. So we'll get the Emerald Lady here. Look at that. Yes. Look at the beautiful dress there. Yeah. Traditional dress there. They're doing a film there as the boat goes by. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So here we got the First Lady going by. How you doing? And we got people doing the nice fashion here. Yeah, there's the Trump Tower. There's the Wrigley Building, Tribune Tower, DuSable, Michigan Avenue Bridge. There's that pontoon boat we saw. People are heading along the Chicago Riverwalk here. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I can't help it that this building's here, you know. Like I said, I remember when they built this building in 2009. It took them several years to build it. I remember when it topped out. That name on it wasn't always on it. They added it. And again, the disgraced, corrupt Democratic alderman, his name was Burke. That was his last name. He used his law firm to approve that on the behalf of the Trump administration. And he's been ousted from office. And so a Democratic alderman helped the now Republican president get his name on that tower. And Chicagoans will never forgive him for that. Because his law firm personally profited. And it wasn't just that. It was other things, you know. And people always talk about, yes, Chicago is corrupt. Yes, Chicago has corrupt aldermen, politicians. What else is new? It's no news there. But the corruption extends to Washington, D.C., and we always talk about that. There's a lot of corruption in Washington, D.C., both parties, left and right. And, you know, it's not just Musk. There's people on the left making money off the government. There's people on the right making money off of government. They all could do contributions. And some self-finance their own campaigns. If I'm critical about Trump self-financing his campaign with questionable means, I got to be critical about J.B. Pritzker, another billionaire who's probably going to run for president. And here we are again, billionaires and billionaires running both on the left and the right. And it shows you how money corrupts everything. And there's a lot of whataboutisms where people point the finger at one side and the other. Both parties are doing it. Both parties have problems, and both parties have work to do. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So here we'll head by the green Chicago River. It looks like it's green, doesn't it? It looks like it's St. Patrick's Day. Look at the Marina Towers. Here's the Wrigley Building. And we'll head along the Riverwalk here and enjoy the day. Yeah, I'm really hoping to see some sailboats tomorrow. We'll go along the main channel here and see if they lift these Basco bridges. They've been working on some of them. Here we're going underneath Wabash. Here's the Wabash Avenue Bridge there. Chris, how you doing there? Yeah, you want to make some money off the government? Hey, but with this volatility, I mean, like the Dow was down 1,000 points yesterday. Now it's up 1,000. But it's bouncing back and forth. It's up one day, it's down the next. The VIX is still above 30, which is amazing, this volatility we're seeing. And yesterday it was the president threatening to fire Jerome Powell, but I guess everybody forgot about that, like that's not going to happen. And the market's back up today, so you can bet either way. You can bet, you know, it's going to go up. You can bet it's going to go down here. I would get away so I don't annoy these people here trying to just walk along the Riverwalk here. They don't need my commentary. I appreciate you guys tuning in here. Hey, how's it going? So yes, you can fish along here. We saw people fishing here yesterday. Hey, there's the First Lady, Chicago's leading lady there heading by here. We'll catch this architectural cruise boat coming by here. There's the side view of the Trump Tower. There's the old IBM building, that black building. It's Mies van der Rohe. Now they call it the American Medical Association Plaza. You can look back to the Wrigley and the Equitable Building. There's the Mather Tower there on the right. But there's Chicago's first lady, leading lady, heading underneath the State Street Bridge here. Krista, how you doing there? Yeah, the love of money is the root of all evil there, yeah. No, to me, the most interesting thing happening in the stock market right now is the bond market. Part of the reason that we speculate, no one knows for sure. I've read many articles about this. Again, some of these in the Wall Street Journal, a right-leaning, well-respected financial publication. They said that on the day that Trump reversed the tariffs, they made sure Peter Navarro wasn't in the room, and the other two advisors convinced him that they were losing control of the bond market. Why is that important? 10-year Treasury bond market. Trump, one of the reasons the president wants to terminate Jerome Powell is he thinks Jerome Powell should lower interest rates because of the stock market volatility, which is what the Fed has historically done. Anytime there's any market stress at all, they accommodate with liquidity, save the billionaires, make sure the stock market goes up so people don't panic and pull money out of their 401k and do lasting damage to their retirement. The Fed's not doing it this time. Why? Because, as most economists theorize, the tariffs are going to add to inflation, so the Fed is stuck. It's stuck in a horrible position where either way it goes. If it lowers interest rates, there'll be positive and negatives. If it raises interest rates, there'll be positive and negatives. Either way, the president will blame the Fed for the negative impacts. The president will take credit for the positive effects, whether the Fed did it or the president did it. And Jerome Powell knows this. And so, what's the first lesson of a politician? Always have someone to blame when your policy goes not the way you intended to. And Trump knows this. Here's Linnea. Here's the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District boat of Greater Chicago here. So this boat to the left, the smaller boat, how you doing there? People are waving. It cleans up the river here. So we got the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago there that cleans up the river. And there's the Linnea heading by here. People taking architectural cruise, heading into the Dearborn Street Bridge here. But these are my opinions. You know, I'm not CNBC. I'm not Jim Cramer. You know, thanks for listening to my little probably wrong take on things. This is the way I'm positioning myself. I'm prepared for more stock market volatility. I think it might last into the summer because we don't even know how this has impacted the numbers that they use to gauge the economy. So we'll see how it plays out. We're going to find out whether we like to or not. There's the Quaker Oats building. Here we're heading along the Tiny Tap here. And thanks for tuning in here. Prince, how you doing there? Yeah, the bond market's really tricky. And the bond market, again, is much larger than the stock market. The bond market sell-off got them much more concerned. And again, bonds are tricky because when yields go up, the value of the bond goes down. It's opposite. When yields go down, the value of the bond goes up. And it's all financing debt. It's all based upon the 10-year Treasury note that they auction off. There's a different class of investor that invests in debt. Usually the wealthiest investors. But here's Clark Street. Hey, everyone there. Yeah, J.D. Vance is the czar. Yeah, I guess J.D. Vance is in India. India is probably one of the easiest ones because India wants to probably make a deal because, you know, India is the largest democracy. We have to respect that. It's much larger than us. It's the largest nation on earth, actually, and it's a democracy. We want to keep it that way. Of course, Modi has a slightly different set of issues than the United States faces. And we want to maintain allies with India there. So hopefully old JD can come up with the deal there. But here we'll head along the where the Eastland disaster happened here, the seating wall here between LaSalle Street and Clark Street, Riverwalk here. Yeah, it's not a bad day at all. I'm not even wearing a coat. Yeah, Ernesto. Yeah, the dollar's weaker. Yeah, so that's a big part of it too. You know, do you want a strong dollar or a weak dollar? Every country now is playing this game because of the tariffs. And again, we have not seen the full ramifications. We'll see if the dollar continues to weaken relative to the other currencies. Again, you know, it depends on the currency. Everything's relative to everything else. Hey, Chicago River. Yeah, Ernesto. Will Robinson, yeah, thanks for the good comment there. Beach balls, yeah, you're right. Julie Reed, you remember when Chris and Brandon and I took that water taxi to Chinatown, and on the way back there was somebody, we did not know this person. At least I was streaming, just the right place, the right time. They had a small beach ball and they threw it from, I think they were on Lake Street on the South Branch there, and they threw the beach ball to us, and we tried to catch it, but it bounced around the deck of the water taxi, and then we gave it to the person that they were trying to throw it to. And Chris, you remember that? So we'll see how it works out. Chris and I are tentatively planning on getting together on Sunday, and maybe we'll take a trip to Pullman on the far south side, and maybe we'll stop by the east side over by the Chicago Skyway Bridge, go to 95th and Lawrence Fisheries there. Or no, here comes 2 trains there. Calumet Fisheries, excuse me, Calumet Fisheries at 95th. Lawrence is in East Pilsen. We'll go down to Calumet Fisheries. I think they survived the fire there. Yeah, you know, I know we haven't seen Brandon in a while, and how you doing? Hey, Brian, really Chicago. How you doing?
Brian, really.
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm from Galway, Ireland. I used to watch you on my TikTok live for a couple of years.
Oh, great. That's good.
I was sitting up there and I was like, no way.
Yeah, that's good. No, thanks for saying hello.
No, I was checking there to see if you're live. I just said I'd catch you when you're on.
Yeah, good. I'm on YouTube now. I'm on YouTube at lunch, but I'm on TikTok in the mornings and nights, so thanks for watching there.
Man. No,
yeah.
I came to Chicago last year in a J1 in the summer, but I went there in February last year, seeing TikTok live.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Went over, seeing you doing it.
That is great. So you're visiting, or you're just in town?
No, I'm over. I came over last year for J1 for 3 months, and I'm back here now on an internship.
Very nice.
So here till February next year, but yeah, unreal.
Where'd you say you're from?
Galway, Ireland.
Galway. That is awesome. Yeah. Were you here for the river?
I was here for the River Dine Green.
That is awesome.
Working for Chicago Line Cruises, the river cruises.
Oh, very nice.
So
yeah.
Nice view of it.
Good, very nice.
Man.
Thanks for saying hello. I'll let you be. Thank you, sir. That's great. That's awesome. See, he's from Galway, Ireland, and isn't that awesome? And he's here in Chicago. He said he got to work on one of the river boats there for when they dyed the river green. So isn't that great? Hey, we got a friend there from Ireland there that's in Chicago. I noticed his accent there, and thanks for saying hello. That's great. So what were we talking about? We were talking about Brandon. Okay, good. So someone asked about Brandon. I wish Brandon the best, and you know, he might be watching now. I doubt it. Unfortunately, Brandon and I aren't hanging out as much as we used to, and I wish him the best. And you know, there's a lot of things about stuff on social media I don't understand. It has to do with other live streamers. I don't want to get into the details, but I wish Brandon the best. Hopefully we'll see him again. He hasn't been watching because I think hopefully I didn't alienate him. I tried to reach out to him, and I think he doesn't want to talk to me anymore, which is fine. And I wish him the best, and I miss him. Maybe we'll run into him on the street, because I think he still lives there. And here, look at the nice geese. Look at the little baby geese here. So we saw 4 of them. I don't know if this is the same one. there's only one now, so maybe the other ones didn't make it. And that's always, you know, there are turtles and other things here. We saw a muskrat one time. Remember, we saw a muskrat along here? Yeah. Yeah, thanks for understanding, Julie. I have no problem talking about it. I just don't want to talk about it broadcasted here. I wish nothing but the best for Brandon, and I miss the guy, and I feel bad that he doesn't tune in as often, but, you know, I'll take personal responsibility for whatever I did to drive him away there, but some of it was his own actions as well, and it wasn't just against me, it was against other live streamers, and I tried to talk to him about it, and it led to a breakup there. So here we'll cross underneath, and we're just friends, you know. It's nothing more than that, you know. And I really enjoyed hanging out with Brandon. Hopefully we'll do it again sometime. Here's the look how the train's going across there. There's the brown line heading over. Here's the Fort Dearborn here. We're in front of the merchandise mart. Yeah, it's okay, Lindsay. No, I mean, it's just, there's, you know, I remember, you know, Dan All Day New York City like 2 years ago, and he was venting about the things he dealt with on this app, and it leads to drama. Sometimes there's drama that happens that it's nothing to do with me. It has to do with other people on this app and other apps, and sometimes the drama affects your account and affects people that watch your account because you get involved in the drama, and the drama leads to hurt feelings all around, you know, and that's the nature of this business here. But here's the Fort Dearborn. There's the Confluence, the Salesforce Tower here. What is this thing? There's this, there's something right there. Here's the Franklin Street Bridge here. Yeah, Christopher, you know what I'm talking about, you know, and that, you know, look at the, like, what do I always say, Christopher, you can relate because you live stream well as well. Watch Christopher Dotson there in the New York metro area. But the perils of live streaming are legion, you know. You're always dancing around. People ask you controversial questions, and then you gotta either, you know, use emotional intelligence and just like not address it, or if you do talk about it, you got to dance around. You got to dance around the algorithm. You got to make sure, you know, by me expressing my opinions, I don't offend everybody else. And if I don't express my opinion, sometimes I offend the people expecting me to push back against some of the comments, you know. And so it's this fine line. It's all these decisions you got to make all the time. And I want to address every thing people ask, but sometimes I have to pick and choose my battles. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on, Christopher. Yeah, you stated it well. And that's, you know, you'll be talking about something totally different and somebody will read something into it. And I do the same thing. Like sometimes I misimply people's tone in the comments, and they might admit it as sarcasm or funny, and I take it as a personal attack. You know, it's just, it's hard. Yeah, people trying to bring drama to you. Yeah, try to stay from the drama. That's good advice there. It's easier said than done. You know, even there's drama. No matter what's going on. Hey, look, people are sitting out here in these uncomfortable deck chairs. Yeah, we'll head up to, we'll cross Lake Street here. Hey, it's nice to see all these people sitting out here enjoying the sunshine, getting some vitamin D. That's what we're doing. We'll hang out with the geese here. So we'll walk through the loop on the way back. Yeah, look at all these people having their lunch here. So here, we'll head up the stairs here. We'll go up to Lake Street. Thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago. We got a beautiful sunshiny day. We got, mid-50s. Carrying the stroller down there. Hey, we got the light here to splat across. Hey, it's a beautiful dog there. Yeah, look at these ornamental trees under the 333 Nuveen investment there. I gotta watch where I'm walking there. I almost tripped over the curb. There's the train heading into the loop there. We're crossing Wacker Drive here. Here, let's check out these trees here. There's the merchandise mart. Yeah, signs of spring here. Look at these beautiful trees here. They got the flowers. What happened to that light pole there? There, look at the nice pansies here. Look at that. Signs of spring. Happy to see it here. So here, let's head under this Nuveen Investments here. We don't usually come this way. Look how you can look to the train tracks there. Hey Ernesto, how you doing there? Yeah, the tuning fork building, yeah. There it is there. And the reason it's so narrow at the bottom, it's built on airport, railroad air rights. Railroad air rights. And I can't even get out this way. Look how this is messed up. You can't even get out this way. See, look, they got it blocked off. That's why. They're working on the... normally you could get out this way, but they're working on it. So I boxed myself in because I didn't realize that they were working on it here. So here, we'll head out here. I can't get out. Man, they really boxed you in here. No wonder I never go this way, because it's such a contrived way. They got it all fenced off. But here we're at Lake in Wacker. Here, I'll go ahead and cross the street here. We'll head down to the next block here. So here's underneath Lake Street. There's the bridge that crosses the river there. Look, they stuck these stickers on that. There's looking down Lake Street there. We'll head over here on Wacker. There's a nice bike there. There's how you get to the Beatnik Chicken, or Beatnik Kitchen. Right there. There's the Beatnik Kitchen. You can go down there and sit right at the river level here. We're heading down Wacker Drive. Painted myself into a corner. I feel like the Federal Reserve. I can't get out. Hey, 191 Wacker Drive. Yeah, we'll go by the Beatrix Market here. Hey, there's several Beatrix around. So this is one of the last warehouses still in the loop. These is by the river. There used to be more industrial warehouses. Most of them were converted to commercial space, as that one was. Now we got all these gleaming skyscrapers, high rises here. There's the Bank of America building. You can see the that's the Civic Opera House. Hey, look at that guy. He's delivering on the electric unicycle. Oh, they're working on the Plaza here. Let's see what they're doing there. There's Boeing, Bank of America here. Let's head over to State Street, see if we see some tulips on State Street. In the sunshine here. So here we'll head over on this side. On the Plaza there. There's the train heading up Wells Street there. We're on Randolph Street here. You saw a Tesla B? Yeah. So I got to remember to try to film it here. Here's this AstroTurf little park they got here. There's a nice view of the Sears Tower here if we look south on Franklin Street here. Yeah, we'll cross here. Yeah, look at this nice view to the Sears Tower. Looking down Franklin here, all the traffic coming out. Nothing worse than a service parking lot in the loop, but it's a hey, that's a nice view. Look at that view to that vintage skyscraper there. We can see the top there. They converted that to housing, and old vintage photos of the skyline. It was more prominent in the skyline, but now it's surrounded by taller buildings, so it's almost lost in the skyline, as is that building. But here's Franklin Street. There's the Sears Tower. You're looking south here on Franklin Street, loop of Chicago. Upper 50s, not bad at all. Turning out to be a nice day with the sunshine. We'll head over to State Street and we'll look for the tulips. There was some tulips blooming there. Here, American Legion, Bell Post 242 dedicates this plaque. Employees of the Illinois Bell Telephone Company who gave their lives in service of our country there. American Legion there with the Illinois Bell. I guess in this building. Isn't it amazing how I walked past it, walked past this corner hundreds of times, and that's the first time I filmed that. You know, I'm still noticing things I've never noticed, and I walk down the street all the time. Frankie, American Brasserie and Carousel Bar. Oh, they got a carousel bar? Does it rotate? I'll have to look into that. That'd be nice if they actually have a revolving carousel bar. Yeah, has anybody got any more storms? I know there was a bunch of storms that moved through the midsection there. Hopefully Peace Elise is okay, and everybody else in Texas. Yeah, Julie and people in Oklahoma and Arkansas and Missouri and Great Plains states there, Kansas and Nebraska. Even Illinois, Western Illinois, we got some crazy storms. But here we'll head down Wells Street here. Let's go ahead. They decided they want to go. That's good. I'd rather they go before me than after me. There's that building. It's residential housing here. There, the Hotel Allegro. We go down here often. We'll give you some progress on the Thompson Center construction here. I know we walked by it last week. We'll check it out this week here. Hey, the Royal Sonesta Allegro, Hotel Allegro. The Royal Sonesta's, I think, somewhere else. Or maybe, did it move over here? It used to be over. No, it's over by the London House. Here's the Cadillac Palace Theater here. Got hot, humid weather. Thanks, Danny, there. Shut out from Southwest Louisiana. East Lansing's tuning in there. Oh, federal storm relief. Is that what happened? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So here we'll wait here. Here's the Thompson Center. And this used to be the State of Illinois building here. We'll cross, well, I want to stay on this side of the street here so we can film it here. And here's the oh, they closed. Let's check this out. So they closed down the DMV. The DMV used to be here, and they closed it down. And everybody's trying to get their real ID, because in May you have to get your real ID. And so this is no longer the Department of Motor Vehicles temporary site. And I got to find out where. But I'm glad I got my license. I got my real ID, so I don't have to wait in that line there. Other people are trying to do it there. So here we got 5 stories of glass on the curtain wall in the Thompson Center. There's the L train going by there. There's the Clark and Lake Station there. You can transfer to the Blue Line by going through the Thompson Center still, which is still the major transfer point. Here's the, look at this view to the Board of Trade here, looking down LaSalle there, that classic building, Art Deco building, just terminates there. There's LaSalle Street looking north. And Google's renovating this. And it's going to be a new Google offices here in the heart of the loop. Adaptive reuse here. And they want to redo the food court. They'll have a nice outdoor plaza here. Here goes the guy on the one-wheel unicycle. Look at that. I'm amazed how they can navigate traffic here. Hey, we got some petunias here. Signs of spring here. Look at the spring flowers here. City Hall, Cook County building here, 121 North LaSalle. But yeah, if you ever seen Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, they used that in an action scene in that movie. And then there was other movies that took place in there. Look at the petunias here. Yeah, I know the shipping, the supply disruptions may happen because of the tariffs for construction I wonder, and people often ask me about this, they're like, you know, are they going to start the second tower for 400 North Lakeshore? And I think they're just concentrating on building the North Tower, and I think they realize they're not going to build the South Tower until there's more certainty about what's happening with the market and the economy. And so it is affecting people's business decisions, and people are just going to delay as long as there's uncertainty. And despite the market rising 1,000 points a day, it might be a dead cat bounce. Here, let's cruise by Daily Plaza. Let's see if something's going on Daily Plaza. We went by here last Thursday and they had DJs, and it sounds like something's going on here. Here's City Hall, here's Clark Street, and we'll cruise through Daily Plaza, see if they got a DJ or some other live event here. So we're heading into the season where there'll be more programmed events here at Daily Plaza, so we might make this more of a routine stop on our lunchtime walks here. So here at Daily Plaza. Yeah, looks like they got a DJ here. So we'll just walk through here. It's nice to see something happening, not too many people here. Oh, we got some live music here. 41st year of house music in Chicago. Yeah.
Last night a DJ saved my life.
Yeah, how you doing? That's great. Yeah, thank you. That is good. That's good. Yeah.
Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life with a song. I hopped into my car, didn't get very far, no. But I had you on my mind, why be so kind?
Sounds like summer. Look at the fountains on, yeah. First United Methodist Church here. So here's some stuff left over from Easter here. Sunrise service. Yeah, she's dancing. Hey, there's the Picasso. Look at that. Oh, it sounds good here. So what we got here? Look at this message. And see, this is what I often say. We also have the right to worship freely and the right freedom from religion. So it's you know, we got to accommodate both religion and secular viewpoints there and make space for everybody here. There's Mayor Brandon Johnson there on the CBS 2 News here. Here's Daily Plaza. You see how the flags are at half staff, and I assume that's for the Pope. Or maybe they were half-staff for Florida State University. They just kept them half-staff because there's always, you know, world events. The passing of Pope Francis there. But here, let's head back up to Randolph. Here we got 1241. Let's head over to State Street, see if we can see any tulips there. They will probably sell the land for the second tower and someone else a future. Yeah, that could happen. That could happen. I'd like to order a bid #1 Big Mac meal. I just saw that there. Yeah, so we'll keep you posted if there's ever. I don't see any evidence that they're starting on the second tower. We're talking about the 400 North Lakeshore development site there. Here, we'll head across the street here. We got 10 seconds. This is Dearborn Street. There's the train going by. Goodman Theater's right there. And here's the Dearborn. We were talking about this. There's a restaurant here called the Dearborn. There it is in Block 37. Hey, there's a nice dog. Hey, they're getting a nice meal there, Dearborn. I've ate there. It's pretty good. It's a little pricey, but it's good fare. There's Nederlander Theater. And of course, historically, over 100 years ago, it was called the Iroquois Theater, and there was a tragic fire. Over 600 people died there. It was in a matinee there. The asbestos drapes caught fire, and it was really bad. There was people who were trapped. The exits were blocked. It seems to always happen in these fires. There's the Nederlander Theater here, Randolph Street, Loop of Chicago. What time we got here? 12:43. Yeah, we got time. We'll walk. We'll cross State Street here, and we'll check out the tulips here. So let's cross. Well, here's some tulips right here, so I'll stay on this side here. I think these are some of the tulips we saw last week. Wow, see here, we're seeing them in the sunshine here. So look how nice the tulips pop here. She's taking pictures of them too here. So I'm not the only one taking pictures of the tulips here. Look at the yellows and the reds and the beautiful colors here. Look at that. Look how they pop in the sun. Monet would love this, painting these colors. Use your primary colors here. Tulips are popping here on State Street. Look at that. We can get the Chicago Theater in there with the tulips. That's what she was getting there. She was zooming in there. You can zoom in and get that shot there, the Chicago Theater with the tulips. Look at that. What a beautiful day here. Thanks for being a part of it here. Here's the Red Line subway. There's the muddy waters there. Look at that. Yeah, there's more tulips down this way. Block 37 there. Does that look awesome there? That's great. Yeah, it's an artist's dream. There it is. Look at that. Reds and yellows. And tulips are popping on State Street. Look over there. Yeah, let's run across the street here. Don't do this at home here. I'm doing this for a good cause here to film the tulips. Look how tall the curb is here. How you doing? So here, look at that. Look at the tulips. Yeah. State Street, in front of Macy's Marshall Fields here. Wow. So this is giving us a preview of what we're going to see on Michigan Avenue here. And everybody's taking pictures of it because they're so beautiful here. Yeah, the tulips on State Street here. So here, we'll head another block here. You see them across the street there. There's the tulips there. Look at that. Here we're crossing Washington Street. There's the bike path here. We'll head through here.
My hand. All right, girl. How's something?
How you doing? So here's the tulips. More tulips here on State Street. Look across the way. Look, there's the nice artwork in the median there. And then we can see tulips across the way. We can see tulips here. Yeah, I was worried about them too, especially the ones we see. Some that it seems like they're burned a little bit on Michigan Avenue. It looks like their growth is kind of stunted a little bit on Michigan Avenue. But these on State Street, I don't know if they were protected. These are the first ones that are peaking here, and we noticed them last week, and they're so this is giving us a preview of what we're going to see on Michigan Avenue. And we haven't gone through the peak of the tulips. Of course, we've been talking to people from Holland, Michigan. They have a tulip festival there in Michigan, and there you can see Titanic. Hey, look at that beautiful tulips here on State Street. Time to tiptoe through the tulips with me. Sing like Tiny Tim here. Yeah, look at that. Wow, look at these tulips. They're huge. Tiptoe. So it looks like they continue here. Let's see, we got 12:47. How far do we want to go here? Let's see if we want to keep going here. Yeah, let's head over to Millennium Park here. We'll spend the balance of my time. I know I went through this morning, but we'll do it again. We'll cruise through Millennium Park and show you the tulips over there. Here's the Carson Prairie Scott. There's the Gothic Target there, Louis Sullivan. They now call it the Sullivan Center. It's now the Gothic Target. And beautiful Chicago-style architecture here. Louis Sullivan's the architect. And Selfridge briefly owned it for like a week, but he flipped it. If you ever saw about the London retailer there, Selfridge, he briefly owned Carson Prairie Scott for like a week, and he sold it because he didn't really want it. He'd rather go to London there, just like the PBS show showed. Yeah, knee deep in the tulips. Reckless Records is a Reckless Records store right here in the Loop. Dunkin' Donuts. Zara Golden Diamonds here. Here we're going to the L here. We're going by Jewelers Row here. Wabash. Landmark Diamond Center here. There goes the train pulling in. The orange line's pulling into the Washington and Wabash station here across the street here. So there's looking underneath Wabash there, elevated tracks. Hey, there's a VW van there. There's looking up Wabash towards the Trump Tower there. We'll go by the Link station here, Madison and Wabash. Yeah, we'll head over to Millennium Park here. The tap is dry. The tap is dry. Oh, no getting tipsy at the tap. That was so nice. We ran into that gentleman from Galloway, Ireland there. He stopped us there on the Riverwalk there. I'll have to cut that out there. He said he was able to work on a boat there when they dyed the river green there. He's been working from Chicago for a while, the way it sounds. That's great. And here's the 20 Madison bus here. Go ahead by Raising Cane's here. But look at the beautiful trees here. The trees are really turning the corner here in Millennium Park. They're blooming, and so it looks like spring has finally sprung here in Chicago. April the 22nd here. Happy Earth Day. Why did it take me so long to mention that? Michael reminded me of this morning. Happy Earth Day. I guess that started in 1970. And again, pop quiz. Who started the EPA? It was Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon started the EPA. And it was more when protecting the environment was more bipartisan, which I hope we can return to that. And there we're crossing Michigan Avenue. The Art Institute of Chicago's there. There's the street wall. There's the Chicago Athletic Association. Here's all the old Montgomery wards there. The Gauge. Actually, the Gauge is over there. The Gauge is over there. That's another Louis Sullivan building right there. Here, let's head into Millennium Park here. Let's check out the Bean here in the bright sunshine here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago here, Millennium Park. There's the Crown Fountain. They don't have the fountain on yet, but they got the faces there. People are taking pictures. And look at the daffodils. We got see these tulips are like burnt. These got actually burnt. Maybe they did get a little too cold. These tulips are coming out of it here. There's the daffodils and the purple tulips here. Millennium Park here. But look at the beautiful flowering trees here. They got the bar open there. We'll head up to the Bean here. It's 12:52 here in the PM. Yeah, happy Earth Day there. I like to order a big number one Big Mac there. Yeah, city honesty. You can't, you know, when you live stream, you know, you can't lie. You can't like, you know, everybody thinks this is like recorded and like embellished or like from the city's marketing department. No, I'm just showing scenes of the city here. And here we'll head through Millennium Park here. Then you get the free Bible course. There's the Great Bean of Chicago here. See, many more people here today than there were. We were here about 8 o'clock this morning. We almost had the whole thing to ourselves, but people always gather here, especially when there's nice sunshine here. Check out the Bean here, Millennium Park, Chicago. Thanks for being a part of it. We'll head up the ramp here. Or actually, we'll head up the stairs. The guy's coming down the ramp here. Isn't it nice? I made these steps, at least they got a ramp here as they should. It has to be ADA accessible. Hey, the Great Bean of Chicago, there it is. It's looking nice there, gleaming in the sun there. All the dogwoods in Cincinnati are blooming. That's good there. Yeah, happy Earth Day there, Eliza, there to Cincinnati. That's great. Yeah, I remember going to Eden Park in Cincinnati in the springtime, and it's just beautiful, beautiful trees there and all throughout the city. Hey, look, they're taking a picture there. See, there I am right there. How's everybody doing there? There's the Great Bean of Chicago. You can see yourself reflected. Yeah, people are posing for pictures here. Yeah, look at that. Millennium Hall. They're piping in the music. Look, they're already eating there. They're eating outside. April the 22nd there. The bar's open. The double clutch bar's open. Yeah, look at that. So, outdoor seating is open here at Millennium Hall. And the bar's open. And we already saw people sitting at the outdoor beer garden behind the Bean there. Hey, they're good. They're taking pictures there. So here, let's head underneath the Bean here and see what it looks like here. There I am. So you can see yourself reflected multiple times if you look up underneath here. And that's what they're doing. You look right up in the center. See, there I am there. And then I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see yourself reflected 5 times. That's a nice backpack there for the kid there. Yeah. Hey, look at that. Yeah. See, I'm in all these people's pictures here. Hey, the Great Bean of Chicago. There it is. So let's get to the corner here so we can get the whole thing. And then it's too big. I can't get it in the frame. Yeah, probably the vast majority of people here are tourists, but you know there are local people that do enjoy checking it out here. People travel, you know, from the burbs here. They make a point to stop by here, take a photo. But look at all these people here. You know, any public work of art, you notice there's much more people around the Bean than around the Picasso, and the Bean's much more popular than the Picasso. We know this. And the Picasso's been there for a lot longer, so people are tired of it. They don't know what it is. But here's people out at the beer garden here, the Casa Bonita. There's the Great Bean of Chicago. Look out the skyline. I think the Bean's so popular because you can see yourself in it, reflected. It's an inverted mirror, and you can see the skyline. And so, you know, give people a mirror, they'll like it. Because they can see themselves in the sculpture. Here's Casa Bonita. I don't know why they got, I guess maybe for the teen takeovers, they do have security here on certain nights, Friday nights and Saturday nights usually. Yeah. Chris, I'm a tourist too. Every day I'm a tourist. Discover something new. But hey, look at the trees are blooming here. Signs of spring. These are some of the first trees to turn green here, and there's some of the last trees that lose their leaves in the fall too. They picked up special hardy type of tree, species of tree here. Hey, there's some LA Dodgers fans there. Look at that. See? Yeah. Yeah, you can flick the bean there, make a noise there. It's like a big tuning fork. Dong. It's like a giant bell there. You can ring the Taco Bell there, the bean. They could put like a big, you know, drum on the inside to knock it. That would make it like tone on the hour. Wouldn't that be interesting? It's a good idea. Yeah, being a tourist. Well, the best thing of taking a tour of the city you live in, you don't have to wait at the airport, and this city's so vast that we could discover something new or something we haven't visited in a while. There goes the pink line heading across through. There's probably real short. There's probably only 4 cars. Yeah, look at that. There's the pink line heading through the loop. They're heading southbound. There's the bike police here. Surprised there's not a band playing today here. But here, we'll head up Michigan Avenue here, 1258. Thanks for coming in here. And yeah, I'll message Lorene. I'll message you. We'll take it offline. We'll coordinate the dates there. I really appreciate it. I really hope to see you there in June, and we'll work it out. And I might be back at my father's over Memorial Day. Maybe we'll see you then too. So we'll find a way to get together. I missed you there at the holidays there, but hey, look, the kids are running in the fountain there. They're actually in the fountain. Look, he's hopping out there. They got field trips going on. This is the season for field trips here. I'm sure if you go to the museums, you'll see a bunch of field trips from all over the nation. And here we're heading by Millennium Park here, just rounding out our walk here. We're almost to 60 degrees here. Beautiful day. And I hope it continues the rest of the week here. Cubs and Dodgers play tonight, 6:40 there, yeah. Eric, how's it going there? Yeah, Dodgers are in town. I saw some Dodgers fan there in Millennium Park. That makes sense there. So yeah, the Cubs ended their series with the Diamondbacks. They'll start a series with LA. It's going to be a huge series. No promises. I may go to the game on Friday. We'll see. And of course, it's a day game. Somebody offered me tickets, and I got to see if I can schedule it in with my work there. But twist my arm there, you know, I'll take another day off there. So maybe, no promises, Chris, but maybe on Friday I might get us into the friendly confines here. It's really problematic live streaming the game. I don't want to break FCC, but I usually I've had good luck on YouTube. If I go in there around noon to 1 when I could show you at least the stadium and get you like the national anthem and the God Bless America and the first pitch and the pre-game festivities. Maybe we'll maybe we'll go to Byron's and get a hot dog, and I'll do a promo of Byron's hot dogs there or something. We'll figure out something to do. Last year at this time, I went to the cemetery. I don't know if I'll have time to go up there. We went to Grayson Cemetery. I need to go back there. Maybe we'll see the coyote. There are several coyotes that live in Grayson Cemetery there. But hey, look at Michigan Avenue. We can look up to the Wrigley building here. We'll just keep focused that way. Yeah, give you something to do tonight. Watch the Cubs game there. Yeah. Brian and Chris show. Yeah, that'd be great. You put your pinky to your mouth when you type that, yeah. Mum's the word. Yeah, we'll keep you posted here. Oh, look at this. Okay, good. So I think Hubert or somebody tipped me off this. Cinnabon's coming here. Auntie and Anne's Cinnabon coming soon here. 163. So on our way to, it shows you Millennium Park is such a draw. That rainbow cone and Cinnabon are opening shops here in the Millennium Plaza, right next to Garrett's Popcorn. So we got all these ice cream and popcorn and Cinnabon lids, which is all the sports hats and blazers. Bubblicious, Stan's Donuts, your last block before Millennium Park there. Sit out here at Stan's Donuts, and then we'll go by the Nutella here. Hey, riding a motorcycle there. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I got to get the written consent. No accounts or descriptions of this game without the official written consent of MLB base are prohibited. But usually they say that for the football. Hey, we got some flowers here. Here we'll cross the street here, Lake Street. Thanks everybody for tuning in there. Enjoy this weather. We got the whole spring and summer ahead of us, so thanks for tuning in here, and appreciate it. There's the credential there, and we'll see you tonight after 5 o'clock on TikTok. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks for moderators. There, we'll show you these tulips here. See, there's some pansies here on Michigan Plaza. There's the tulips here. See, we got plenty more tulips to film. We haven't even got to the tulips on Michigan Avenue. Are just getting started, so we got weeks ahead there. When you smell the Cinnabon, yeah, get some pretzels there. Okay, see you everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.